A century of absolute glory. A simple game transformed into a total global obsession. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the complete history and evolution of the FIFA World Cup. We're going to look at exactly how 22 players chasing a ball on a pitch somehow managed to capture the hearts of billions, creating this epic, ongoing story of incredible passion, history, and literally unforgettable memories. There's a famous saying about this tournament. When the whole world stops, when millions of people blend their voices for a single dream. And when you really stop and think about it, for those players stepping out onto the grass, the world literally does stop. Because in that single moment, it isn't just a game of football anymore, right? Those players are carrying the immense hopes, the dreams, and the incredibly heavy expectations of entire nations. It's the beginning of a massive cultural phenomenon that defines entire eras. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. Beginning of a global dream. The 1930 Genesis. To truly understand the sheer magnitude of this tournament today, we have to travel back to its super humble origins in 1930. Football was growing wildly popular, for sure, but there was no unified global stage. So FIFA steps in and chooses Uruguay as the inaugural host. But get this, 13. That was the shockingly small number of teams that actually competed. 13. Compared to today's sprawling, multi-city tournaments, it's almost hard to believe. Back then, European teams actually had to endure a grueling, multi-week boat ride across the Atlantic just to reach South America. It was small, it was highly concentrated, and it culminated with the host nation, Uruguay, being crowned the very first champion. Yet, this little 13-team experiment, it kicked off a journey that would make football the absolute biggest sport on the planet. Moving on to Part 2, a growing obsession. The magic of Brazil and Pele. So from those modest 1930 beginnings, the tournament really found its rhythm, expanding every 4 years. And as it grew, this massive new powerhouse emerged. Brazil. They didn't just win games. They carved out this mythical identity that became synonymous with the very essence of football itself. And right at the center of that Brazilian magic was the emergence of Pele. Picture this. It's 1958, and he's just 17 years old. He completely stuns the globe. He didn't just show up to participate. This incredibly young star actively elevated Brazil to become world champions. By doing that, he set an entirely new standard for athletic greatness, proving that raw, youthful talent could completely conquer the world's biggest stage. Which brings us to Part 3, emotional battles, memorable moments, and heroes. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing how the heroes actually pass the baton across the decades. As we move through the years, the World Cup proved time and time again that it is way more than just a physical contest. It is a theater of raw human emotion. Every tournament produced its own legends and devastating heartbreaks. Take 1970, which showcased the absolute peak of Brazil's dominance with a squad that many consider the greatest ever assembled. Jump forward to 1986, and you've got a tournament entirely defined by Diego Maradona. Between his infamous Hand of God and his legendary goal of the century, he practically carried Argentina to glory single-handedly. By 1998, the narrative shifts again, marking France's historic unifying victory right on their home soil. These aren't just dates on a timeline. They are chapters in a continuous story where new heroes rise up to define their own generation. Part 4. The Global Titans. Modern Era Clashes. Entering the post-2000 era, football became incredibly globalized. The media reach, the massive fan bases, and new technology amplified the sport to a staggering degree. And in this incredibly interconnected modern landscape, two monumental figures totally redefined what it meant to be a superstar. You've got Lionel Messi's victory in 2022 with Argentina, which was viewed by millions as the poetic completion of an unfinished story, a real capstone to a legendary career. Meanwhile, you have Cristiano Ronaldo's relentless drive, and his own historic journey generated some of the most highly talked about moments in the sport's history. Together, their contrasting journeys and their immense, undeniable impact completely captivated the modern world and inspired a whole new generation of fans. Part 5. A transcendent phenomenon. More than just a game. And this brilliantly illustrates what it's really all about. When you pull back and look at the whole picture, you realize that during this monumental event, the world's geographic borders magically seem to shrink. It is the ultimate equalizer. Small nations can dream just as big as the established giants. It offers this incredibly rare platform where players literally write their names into the history books forever. Because in this tournament, a single, fleeting moment on the pitch, one crucial goal or one miraculous save, completely transcends time. It allows a split second of action to echo for decades and ultimately define an entire generation. It truly is where history is written every 4 years. From those 13 teams enduring long boat rides in 1930, all the way to the unparalleled global spectacle we know today, this tournament has given us legendary players, unstoppable teams, and countless memories. It is so much more than a golden trophy. It is the ultimate symbol of our world's greatest shared passion. So what history will be written next? And whose dream will be the one to literally stop the world?